Welcome to the Act Out Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Tomlin. Today's guest is president of the Old Dominion University Democrats, Steven Swank. Let's roll the tape. Well, first counsel, first serving, and first of your name, Steven. You are the ODU Young Democrats president, is that right?
Yeah, ODU Democrats.
All right.
Shortened that title because of the SGA's ruling with age discrimination.
Wait, what is that now?
So, when creating a group to be recognized by campus, by the SGA, they have an age discrimination clause. So technically, we can't have young Democrats only.
Okay.
So that's why if you look at our Constitution, there's basically like a dual Constitution in it where you have anybody can join and hold offices of the ODU Democrats, but to attend in Young Dem stuff, they're going to need that age required.
Oh, okay. Now, have you been involved with the ODU Dems for all 4 years?
No. So after Trump got elected is when I started getting involved with them. My professors remember when I got angry that he got reelected. Like I was genuinely disappointed in this country because as someone who used to be a Republican, I'm kind of unique, I think, in our group.
Me too.
And as someone who specifically was indifferent to Trump, and even my grandma who voted for Trump twice, 2016, 2020, even she voted Democrat for the first time in a while, to my understanding, because January 6th was the cutoff for her. She said, okay, no more.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the part where I think that if we were in a healthy country politically, Trump wouldn't have gotten a single vote on election night.
Yeah. No,
that's clearly not the case. And when Trump got reelected, I'm like, I'm going to my professors and I'm like, hey, do you guys have a Democrat group on campus somewhere? And they're like, yeah, you can look them up in campus groups. So I take a couple days, try to research them, get in contact. Nobody answered. Well, there's nobody to actually send a message to. So I go up to one of my professors one day. It's like, hey, I've been looking around. These people aren't on campus groups or anything. And then he basically says, okay, you're the president now. Go at it, buddy. And so 2024, we got re-recognized in fall of 25 during the Spanberger campaign. And from there, it's just been a huge learning experience for me.
I can imagine so. Went through a lot there. I want to start with this. You said that you started out as a Republican. How old were you in 2016?
In 2016, I had just turned 11.
Okay. So, I mean, pretty much most of your life that you can remember, politics, Trump has been involved, right?
Yeah. I do remember the latter half of the Obama's second term, right?
Me too. Very fondly.
But yeah, my life politically in terms of me actually voting has been dominated by Trump.
Okay. Yeah.
The Trump era of politics.
Who was your very first vote for president?
My very first vote was in 2024 for the presidency.
Oh, okay.
So Kamala.
Oh man, that's so much better than mine.
Let that just sink in how young I am.
Yeah, no, I was trying not to. I was doing the math earlier because so I think he's graduating this year, right, in 26.
Yeah, December of 26.
Okay, December of 26.
If everything works out properly.
Yeah, I think I was maybe 18 or something whenever the year you were born. So I was like, nope, I'm not even going to do that math up.
I was born in 2004, so
yeah, no. Oh. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that, man. You're making me feel very old. My very first vote for president, George W. Bush, 2004. Yep. And I even voted
Bush Republican.
Yes. And 2008, voted for McCain. Yeah. It wasn't until 2011 is when I really started to kind of shift my political views. And Obama was 2012 and then straight Democratic from there. But yeah, those first few years were were a little questionable.
Oh, yeah.
So why were you a Republican?
So I was a Republican mainly because I was just politically taking up the stances that my family at the time, my grandparents, took up.
Mm-hmm.
So they were they identified more with the Republicans, and thus so did I.
Okay, so where are you from?
I am from Warsaw, Indiana. I was born in Fort Wayne, and I was raised in Warsaw for first 11 some odd years of my life.
Okay, so where is that?
That is northeast, kind of central, north central, northeast Indiana, kind of on the Michigan border.
Okay, so that I'm assuming that's a rural area.
No, it's a city. Warsaw is classified as a city.
Oh, it is. Okay.
The outskirts of it are fairly rural. You have cornfields, bean fields, etc. But it's a city.
What is the kind of?
It barely meets that qualification though. I think it's got maybe like 30,000 people.
Okay, so yeah, it's
on the smaller end of cities.
That's actually, I think, right around where I'm from, Cartersville, Georgia. It's like northwest of Atlanta, and I think it's like right around 30,000.
It barely qualifies as a city.
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of interesting, man. I was assuming that was a rural area. So, is the kind of like political demographic there? Does it skew more Democratic or Republican?
It's a Republican area.
Okay.
I mean, the Republican, almost said mayor there has been in power for a while. And it's one of those things where they vote the same people in no matter how corrupt they get. And the mayor right now is very much corrupt, taking kickbacks. Let's just say he's been kind of selectively allowing law enforcement to ignore certain things, et cetera, and so forth. And, as a result of that, you have entire communities dominated by meth houses. The house next to where I used to live one night caught on fire because someone cooking meth cooked it wrong.
Really?
So
what was the kind of like income source there? Is there a lot of factories
So you mainly had three different things I can think of. So you had your blue collar services, like your mechanics, your carpenters, your city workers. If I had to say, that's probably the bulk of the workforce.
Okay.
If you're white collar in Warsaw, you probably live on like the outer real suburbs area, and you work at Zimmer Biomet, which Zimmer Biomet is headquartered in Warsaw.
Oh, okay.
Which is why the only thing Warsaw, Indiana is known for being is the orthopedic surgery capital of the world. Or the United States, I should say. I don't know if it's the world, but United States for sure.
So, like, whenever you were growing up, was it like manufacturing, and did like things kind of like slow down in that sense, or is it always kind of been just like this medical hub? And
I kind of missed the Rust Belt part of Warsaw, but there are some factories there that look like they haven't been updated since the 80s. They just kind of have that old kind of rusted down factory feel to it. I'm assuming Warsaw Chemicals is still open because that's where my dad used to work. I would like to think that that's still open, but for the most part, your major factories are not in that area.
I was wondering why, because whenever you were talking about meth houses, a lot of times that's whenever areas are hit with that, it's just because there are not a lot of economic prospects.
Right. Drugs, violent crime are, to my knowledge, still common in Warsaw, and they were when I lived there. Back when my grandparents first had that house, there were drive-bys in the neighborhood.
Really?
And my grandparents are gone now, but if they were still alive, they could like point to the exact like wall in their house that had bullets come through it.
Really? So why did they stay?
They stayed because Indiana's a cheap place to live, and Warsaw in particular doesn't necessarily have the biggest demands, shall we say. And also just as they got older, they had already settled in that area, and when you're old, it's kind of hard to just move. My grandfather knew the farming lifestyle more than I did.
Okay.
He grew up in Kentucky.
Okay, so he grew up in Kentucky. And did he grow up voting like straight Republican, kind of like red, white, and blue?
I actually can't answer that honestly because Grandpa never really shared his beliefs. Given that he was born in 1935.
Okay. I was kind of thinking a little bit.
Given that he was born in 1935, I would like to say that if he did vote at all, it would be like the typical blue collar Democrat, Southern Democrat kind of thing. Though, again, I'm not going to make any absolute claims on that because or at least I never knew of his political history.
So what was your introduction to politics?
My introduction to politics was, in any real sense, when I moved here to live with my uncle. He's much more politically, well, at the time he was more politically engaged than me. I think that has kind of flipped now.
Really?
That was actually the first time I sat down and like watched part of the election results was the 2016 election. So,
I'm assuming, were you happy?
Like, we had those like little coloring maps that you can
get,
like color in how the states vote. But yeah.
So were you happy in 2016?
I was indifferent. Now, I was a young, edgy kid back then, so I know I said things to be provocative.
Yeah,
and that part of me hasn't left. It's just who I target now.
You're kind of, what was your first impression of Trump?
My first impression is, how does anyone take this man seriously?
Yeah, okay.
Like, he is genuinely the stupidest president we've ever had. He doesn't know anything about anything. He doesn't know any math. He doesn't know any history, any science, not even law. He doesn't even really know any business. He's bankrupted every business he's owned just about. And even money laundering casinos. Casinos literally print money, and yet you're trying to make this man the CEO of the government, basically, while also saying, well, a government should be run like a business, which it shouldn't. But even if I accept that, you'd want a competent CEO.
Right.
I would rather not have the country become a business statistic.
I think with Trump, what was interesting is, like, growing up, I watched professional wrestling, like Deep South and kind of a rural area. Yeah, of course I'm going to watch wrestling. And so part of the like gimmicks and everything is you have got to basically beat on your chest and talk about how amazing you are. Like, I'm the best at this, I'm the best at that. And so whenever I was growing up, I kind of assumed that was reality. And that was like how you, like, if you were the best, you would have to like go up in front of a microphone, beat your chest and be like, I'm the best, I'm the man. And it took me a very long time to realize that it's actually the reverse, where if you are the best or if you are the smartest or whatever, you're not going to have to say a word. People are going to realize it without you having to say it.
And in fact, I would add on to that. In this country at this point, with the amount of anti-intellectualism we have in it, sometimes it's more socially acceptable. I say socially acceptable because I don't care about that. But it's intelligence isn't respected in this country. It's about what people want to hear.
Where do you think that anti-intellectualism kind of comes from?
I can say for sure it's been here since the founding. If you want to take the anti-immigrant approach, you had people, the know-nothings back in the early 1800s who were very anti-immigrant, thought Catholicism would make us into Rome or whatever. And then if you want to go the anti-science route, even as the first smallpox vaccines were being distributed by, Edward Jenner here. Yeah, that's the one.
You could have said any name there, but okay. I have no idea.
Right. But even as those vaccines are being distributed, you had people who thought that was just the government's way of controlling you, or they didn't use microchips back then, obviously.
Yeah.
But they just found it to be a systematic system of oppression and a taking away of control, if you will. And, that rhetoric still repeats today. Look at what RFK Jr. supporters say.
Yeah.
But if you want to speak specifically to causes, to get back to your original question there, I think it's a combination of the lack of proper education in this country. And I mean public education, not necessarily higher institutions, combined with the failure of things like the healthcare system and the system of policing, and how this country has been slowly but surely bought out by the rich.
Yeah. That is very true, though. As you were like,
my Democrat friends don't like me pointing that out. I think I'm a socialist.
That actually is a very good point. You do kind of have that. I did not realize that, like, the anti-vaccine went back as far back as it did.
It's anti-public health has been around ever since that idea became a concept.
But I think though,
but back then there was more of a justification for it because honestly, back when George Washington and all them were around, oftentimes going to the doctor could get you killed.
Yeah,
because what doctors would do would bloodlet you.
Right. I mean, they killed George Washington. George Washington died because of he came home with a sore throat, and they took out. I can't remember how many.
He would have recovered just fine if he were left alone.
Yeah,
give him some chicken noodle soup or whatever.
But no, that is really interesting though, because I think that a lot of times intellectuals have the burden of defending institutions that are systematically attacked. By different interest groups, and they are sort of saddled with whatever the results happen.
It's not really us defending institutions, although it does come off to that to some extent, because we will say, oh, well, Social Security isn't the bad idea or whatever.
Right.
But we say that from the prospect of here's where they're going right, and hopefully here's where we can make it better. I'm not gonna, I'll sit here and tell you hey, vaccines work, but some of the messaging during COVID was confusing to somebody who doesn't read the primary literature like I do. So unless if you're every day looking through journals, most Americans aren't.
Yeah.
Then it just kind of comes off as a change of narrative every 5 seconds.
Science changes every 10 minutes or so. People see that as a bad thing. I actually see that as a good thing. I want things to change whenever there's updated information. We thought that this was right. It turns out that we have better data that shows that doing Y is actually better. Okay, let's start doing Y.
And honestly, if you understand how and why science works, you'd be glad that it is changing, because if things weren't changing, that means we're not learning anything new. That should be learning something new and being able to change your mind and add to your pool of knowledge. That should be seen as a positive thing, but instead it's seen as hypocritical or somehow in bad faith.
I want to go back to you changing your mind. Brag on you a little bit for being able to do so.
Oh, well, thank you.
You said you started out as a Republican. What were the values that you were okay, I am a Republican. This means I believe XYZ.
I was raised in a non-denominational Christian household.
Okay.
And so I would say that in the aspects that I was conservative, it was very much founded in religion.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
same. Yes.
Yeah.
Pro-life, I'm assuming?
Pro-life. This is an issue, but anti-gay marriage.
Yeah. I was as well for a bit. Yeah.
And all this other stuff. And, looking back on past me, I'm just I'm not taking you seriously anymore.
I mean, but if you think about, when you were there, what information did you get? Did you get anything outside of a particular bubble or a particular spin? I'm assuming it was very fair and balanced.
Yes, very much. No, in all seriousness, the stuff that I watched, and I say watched because I was always a hands-on kid that liked to tinker with stuff, but the stuff I did watch in terms of media, it was whatever my grandparents were watching, which was Fox News most of the time. So
yeah,
that should let you know where I was. Fun fact, there's a study out there that shows that Fox News, people who watch Fox News are on average less informed than those who consume no news at all.
Yeah. And apparently there's been studies where people have been paid to watch other sources of information, and after 6 weeks will not hold the same views that they did prior to the experience. It's really interesting to me.
Right.
So what Fox does, so the way people's brains are wired is obviously very important, and people who tend to have conservative beliefs tend to have larger amygdalas, which is kind of responsible for fight or flight. It's kind of, you know, that
They're
that lizard
basal
brain.
interactions.
Yes.
Or, sorry, basal instincts, I should say.
Yes, very much so. And so they're like, people who watch Fox News are constantly being bombarded with things that are supposed to make them afraid. And so it kind of becomes a cycle where they feel afraid, they need to keep watching news, they feel more afraid, and it's just gonna like keep going back into a circle.
But that's where you also see the opposite effect, like people who take the anti-gay, anti-trans, they'll watch, they'll be conservatives, and then they'll find out, oh, well, my family member is trans or my family member is gay, and then they become more open.
Yep.
And that's because, part of the way the amygdala works is that it prioritizes the in-group over the out-group.
Yep.
So if you suddenly have someone in your in-group that is now a part of a group you perceived as the out group, you have one of two options: either expand your mind, or, and sadly this is a common one too, ostracize them.
Yeah.
Kick them out.
Yeah. No, that is true. And it's interesting to me, kind of the different process. So my sister came out as gay and like right around like 2011 or so, and so like, grew up in a very rural area. College, I was in Atlanta, got to meet like all different kinds of people, and so like I was already kind of slowly starting to like evolve from like my very socially conservative views. And so I think I had been primed at that point, but once my sister came out, I was like, okay, so this is Brooke. She has been herself her entire life. Like she, like there hasn't been any like choices made or anything. At that point, I was like, clearly this is like, gay is not a choice at all. And like from that point, it was like very easy for me to be like, yep, okay, my mind has been changed. But it did absolutely take somebody in that in group though.
That's sometimes what it takes. For me, I ended up ditching religion altogether. I am
same.
I am an atheist.
Yeah, yeah, same, man.
Openly so.
Yeah, dude, that's kind of gutsy to do in the South,
which has only gotten me, a couple of dirty looks every now and then.
Yeah,
and Christians pointing at me like I'm some sort of science experiment. Like, oh, let's find out how the atheist works. Like dissecting me on the table and whatnot. I in high school, I've been an atheist since I would probably say 2016 is when I started to deconvert and try to deprogram, and some of that deprogramming still going on today.
Yeah, I mean, probably will for a long time. I mean, It definitely still is for me.
But I literally remember in one of my health science classes, like someone bringing up, God, and I'm like, wait, you still believe he exists? Like kind of in a kind of a snarky way. I didn't mean it any deeper than that. And then they turn to me and they're like, wait, you don't believe in God? It's like, nope. And I explained to them why.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they couldn't formulate a response when they were trying to shows just how unusual it is for somebody to be an atheist in this country openly. That's why you'll see people identify as agnostic.
Well, yeah,
even though agnosticism doesn't refer to belief at all. It refers to knowledge. Not to be Gnostic, that word refers to knowledge.
Yeah.
That's why when people come up to me, it's like, don't you think you should be agnostic? No, I'm an atheist.
I usually will just say I'm an agnostic atheist. It kind of just covers.
Well, those two words do go well together.
Yeah, and then I mean that's very much where I am. I don't think that it's possible to prove the non-existence of God. That's why I kind of tend to be more agnostic.
I tend to be more malleable in that. I think that if you were to just bring forward a general concept of a God, I could not disprove it.
That's true. Yeah.
If you bring forth the God of the Bible or the God of Islam or the Torah, or pick your favorite religion, then I can start comparing how I think, taking their personality traits and what they do all together, I should be able to take what their personality traits and compare them to reality. Because if they exist, then they should have an effect on reality that matches what they're saying.
Yeah.
So in that sense, in terms of an absolute God concept, no, if you were to just propose a deistic God, I can't disprove that.
Right.
But I'm a Gnostic atheist on any gods that have been sufficiently defined by humanity.
What do you think? A lot, I see this a lot. What do you define like the difference between a leftist versus a liberal Democrat?
Scholarly, that is, leftists tend to be strict anti-capitalists, whereas liberals are not.
Yeah, right. There's a much further there's a much like wider chasm.
That's why social democrats, which I identify as, are liberals. They're not leftists because we're not anti-capitalists.
Okay, so how do you define like what's the difference between a liberal Democrat and a social democrat?
It's more of like a dedication to liberalism. So, okay, so a social democrat is by nature a liberal Democrat, but not all liberal Democrats are social democrats. It's one of those all rectangles are squares, but not all squares are rectangles. There are different aspects of liberalism that people lean into more. So you have your social liberals who are socially liberal, but economically they're not really for regulation, not sufficient regulation, shall we say, or what they deem as overbearing. Economic liberals are pretty much the opposite. And then you have people that have all different varieties of liberalism they subscribe to. Myself as a social democrat, I am both a social liberal and also an economic liberal. And so some of the policies I propose actually go borderline socialist. You know, I'm for universal health care and free education and AI being a public utility instead of a private thing.
Well, if we're going to help pay for the cost, we should also get a little share in the profit. I mean, that makes the most sense to me.
Right. So in that sense, social democrats are slightly more pink than liberal democrats. Oh, the YDSA is going to love when they see this.
I mean, yeah, man, we aim to make some waves, so we'll see what happens. So it seems like whenever you were growing up, like your like political values and beliefs kind of derived from like on high, you know, like it's sort of like God.
Yes.
And that was it. So now where do you see like the source of your values?
The source of my values come from what benefits humanity most. The basic premise, I guess you could say.
Maximize well-being.
Right. Maximize well-being, minimize harm.
Yes.
It's a cost-benefit analysis. I think that's about the closest you could get to objective morality.
Yep. Are you a Sam Harris guy?
No, my specific brand of atheism has been inspired by Aaron Ra.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
He's a secular activist on the Texas Board for American Atheists.
Yeah. No, I'm
directors for American Atheists in Texas, I should say.
I had only read his name for a long time, and I thought it was Aaron Ra. And whenever like I started watching his videos, I was like, "Oh wow, no, I was way off. I did not realize the connection to the like deity or anything." But he is freakishly intelligent. Like the facts that he can just like spit out like regarding like I think it like especially in evolutionary science, it is amazing to me. Like as someone like growing up, I told you it was public education, so I did not get a lot of like science training, and so science is something that was like very even now it's kind of like very intimidating to me.
Most Americans don't know that a theory is the highest amount of knowledge you can have in science.
That gets me every time. Like evolution's just a theory.
Yes. But like
so is gravity
a theory. Yes, and so is atomic theory. But we still know they're atoms,
right.
And that's because theories provide the how and why of things work, whereas laws are the observations you make.
I think there's this misconception that's like if a theory just behaves really, really well and like minds its P's and Q's, it'll like grow up one day to be a real law. You know, like I think that's kind of like the way people see it. But yeah, so what's a law then?
A law is observation. So, if you were to drop that canteen on the ground, you are observing gravity in effect. You are observing something being pulled to the ground. That's all it really is. That's by and large, you're explaining observations that you make. Theories are like all the kind of in-depth geeky, mathy, sciencey stuff that you get to learn about in school.
As you're talking, you're kind of showing why like intellectuals will have a difficult time and like debates and stuff, because everything, there is so much nuance, and it is very easy to come in and turn nuance into a black and white issue, and just people kind of tend to, if they can, they're going to go towards that black and white as opposed to the nuance. Whenever you're kind of talking to folks on campus, what are some objections that you're kind of running into now?
There's a lot of apathy. Like, I found this a lot when just registering voters. But just getting them to register, I'm not trying to get them to join or, protest or anything. Just trying to get them to register to vote. I had people come up to me and say, I don't care about politics. I don't know about politics. And I don't care to know about politics. And it's like, well, that's kind of disheartening.
Yeah.
And then in my mind, though I'll say it out loud here, I'm like, and that's how this country gets exploited. They depend on people not wanting to do anything.
I was going to ask you what your retort is, but that's the best one you can give.
Like, you want to know why the rich are buying out every part of this government? It's because the people do not actually civically participate anymore. Go to Latin America. Seriously, Latin America, for all the corruption and all the top-down societies that they have, actively engaged society, civically engaged society. The president of Argentina, Milei, passed labor reforms down there recently, and there's been nonstop 24-hour strikes to protest that law. We're not going to get that here.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Like, what is it about? Like, because we had one of the largest protests in American history a couple of weeks ago.
The No Kings, yeah.
Yeah, the No Kings. But it's not like starting the revolution, so to speak.
Right. We're not having Maximilian Robespierre and talk about how it's to the guillotine. But okay, so let's take the first part. I think it's a normalcy bias is why people tend to, stick at home. I think that we've had it relatively good in this country. Not saying it's perfect, but relatively good for so long that people have said, okay, nothing's ever going to change. So why even take the time out of the day to engage? And that's where I have to thank President Trump.
Yeah.
Because he's coming in and he is so utterly destroying everything this country used to brag about, from our economy to our national identity to our freedoms that we claim on paper to have. All that is being destroyed. And now that people are seeing that, they're starting to get more civically engaged. It's slow. It's a slow process.
Oh, yeah.
But it's happening.
I think that Trump has given Democrats a very, very big opportunity in rebranding, because
I'll bet you $100 that they don't take it, though.
Well, I'm gonna do what I can to like make sure they do. But so whenever I was growing up, as a Republican, reflexively, if anything that we're talking about, like a Democratic priority of Democratic politician, we automatically equated Democrats with socialism, communism, because they were the same thing to me. And I guess a better way of saying it is guaranteed results. Like if you have a Democratic politician or Democratic policies, they guarantee results, and that is like the antithesis of America. You're supposed to only have the opportunity. But now, with the way that Trump has kind of gone very like all in with government and it being the like party of results now, I think Democrats have an opportunity to be like, no, we're actually the party of opportunity. We can these policies that we have can actually help give you a better life.
Yes.
And so I think that if Democrats can use that kind of messaging, that could be more palatable than the intellectual know-it-alls who are trying to tell us what to do.
The causational factors of why we're here have always been present in American politics.
Yeah.
Trump is just simply taking the mask off. He's, we always could hide behind a mask of civility, gentleman politics, except for all the duels we have. But now Trump is taking that mask off. We're seeing the ugly side of what this country really is. And I think that that's the real golden opportunity. I think that by recognizing what this country really is, we can then craft a better country out of it. I think I'm just recognizing the reality of the situation. And I hope that the American empire is burning. It's going away. But perhaps out of that, a real republic can be reborn.
Now, how do we do that?
Put me in power, then. No. So in all seriousness,
don't you? What about no kings, man?
Well, hey, this country wanted a king, so I thought I'd just make it an intelligent one. But no. In all seriousness, I think we need to have a complete sit down after this is all said and done, and Trump is 6 feet under, and we kick out the MAGA coalition or whatever. There needs to be a serious discussion about how do we want to structure our government. So the we're seeing now checks and balances are failing. Congress is refusing to do their job. The courts are actually doing what they can comparatively. Especially the lower courts, not necessarily the Supreme one. I think that we need to redefine exactly what what powers are allocated to the president versus Congress versus the courts.
Very much so.
And I think there's a good argument there that we should go back to semi-traditionalism and how the government works in that way.
So what is that?
So that's not the technical term, but that should be like the executive branch executes the laws and has the agencies to do so. The legislative actually passes the law, et cetera, and so forth. Courts interpret.
Yeah.
Because what we've seen over the years is that Congress has slowly but surely and allocated a lot of its power to the executive. So Trump isn't actually, he's breaking the law. Let's not let that go. But he's only exploiting a system that has been built up decades. Decades ago is when this started going on.
Yeah.
And if you have a Congress that refuses to take up its power and actually check the president, that's not how Congress was intended to be used. Congress was political parties in general. While recognized as a necessary evil, the founders never thought it would get to the point where people would put party over country. That's why checks and balances exist in the first place. They thought at the very least people would check each other in various branches of government because they were jealous of each other's power.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, even though like Washington wasn't theoretically in a political party, in his farewell address, he warns of the dangers of political parties. They had already existed, like in a large way. It was the way it was done was so underhanded. It's like you would have like Thomas Jefferson had his own newspapers, John Adams had his, and the way it was done. I think the system is running exactly how it was designed to, with the exception of Congress delegating all of its powers to the presidency. But you can make the argument that we are here, and it was inevitable from the beginning.
I think there's a flaw in that thinking, and I'm not so
agree to disagree, good sir.
No. Well, no. I just say it's too absolutist. I don't like saying that something was inevitable. I think there are a set of factors that have built up over the years that have led to our specific outcome. And I think a lot of it does come down to the two-party system. I always look at the parliaments of Europe, how they have proportional voting, and people have certain representatives from each party. So you have the Greens, and you have the socialists, and the liberals in the middle, and all that other stuff. I think that breeds a unique environment that puts a bigger check on power than a two-party system.
That is true. And like most of the time you're going to form coalitions to do like any kind of governing, like,
but the United States technically does have a multi-party system. We have libertarians and Greens, socialists, even the Communist Party, USA. The problem is that the systems at B lock these people out of power.
Yeah. And that's true. So with this case, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party kind of work together to maintain their monopoly over.
Well, yeah, that's why you'll see, if you look at the lobbyists who have bought out the government, you'll see Republicans and Democrats bought out many of the same lobbying firms.
There has been a long history of Congress kind of delegating its powers. Do you think we can get back to a system that has more congressional checks in it?
Yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and just state here, it's going to require a lot of work, a lot of effort. It's going to require some harsh truths and some harsh treatment, kind of force the medicine, go down people's throats kind of thing, And it's
What do you mean by that?
So, first of all, we have to find a way to keep the MAGA people from taking power again. Like the abuse of power that has stemmed from this coalition, we can't just say, oh, in 4 years, we can just elect someone better. Because in 4 years, we might not have that shot.
Yeah.
So we need to find a way to crack the coalition apart, and Trump's doing most of the work for us on that.
Yeah.
On that end. So thank you.
He's kind of,
but
like, in his first term, he had, obviously I didn't like it. I thought that a lot of his things were kind of like blind luck, and he looked like he was just eating chess pieces. But he kind of had some political acumen to him in a certain sense. Like, he knew how to exploit something.
He was always able to change the narrative.
Yeah.
When the narrative didn't suit him.
And do you think he's lost a step? Like,
he's lost that step at this point. He's been trying to get off the Epstein file since that started popping up in the news, and it hasn't worked.
He tried to he kidnapped a president from another country to try to change the narrative.
Yeah, him and his ilk have tried to justify the current conflict in Iran, and we're doing this for you, and it's like, it's not working. There's an anti-war movement in this country that might be the biggest since the Iraq war. Like, this war is unpopular.
Oh yeah,
Trump is in his 20s in approval right now. Like, there are not many Republicans that are like happy that they'll have to defend this guy on the campaign trail.
and I think that this goes back to something that you had said at the beginning, that, like, you thought after January 6th that Trump was, like, done.
That should have been the deal breaker for most Americans.
And what really irritates me is that the entire 2024 campaign, people were saying, look, Trump is the one that is going to get us into wars. Like, if you vote for him, we will get in wars. And, like, no, libtards, that's not right. Like, we're gonna own y'all. And I mean, white people, we've owned enough other people as it is. We should stop that.
I do love kind of coming back, and this is the snarky person in me. I'm like, hey, I warned you about this.
Right.
Like, people like me tried to sit here and tell you he was doing all these things, and you don't get to act surprised now. Like, you don't get to say, well, I didn't know this was going to happen. Most of it he said he was going to do.
Yeah, that is very true. But like, at the same time, I don't think they've heard that, though. Like,
this man endorsed Project 2025 until he figured out it was unpopular, and then he tried to pretend he didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
All meanwhile, he has hired people who authored the thing into his government, into his administration, most notably Russell Vought. It's like, you guys didn't see this coming? Like, how blind do you have to be to not see this coming?
So I kind of have I have like a hard time, because I know that that there were a lot of people that were duped by an algorithm. Like that. Quite literally, we're saying all these things. They saw none of that. They saw none of that information, and so
the right-wing media space has dominated for quite some time.
Yeah,
we didn't lose in 2024. We lost in 2015.
Yeah.
The fact that someone like Trump went from being someone not taken seriously in the primary to being the now twice elected president.
And you know how he got started? Birtherism. Like, that he telegraphed this from the very beginning.
He's not an American. I want to see the birth certificate.
So for me, I took him as a joke
And
because of that.
And even back in my ignorant political mind when I was in middle school, I'm like, okay, buddy, that's not real. Come on.
That was I didn't think anybody would take him seriously after that. And so it's just every single time he does something, I'm like, well, there it is. It is absolutely over. And then he somehow like crawls out of the wreckage like a damn cockroach and is like surviving with like some radioactive stuff. And he's got 3 heads now. It's amazing how he can withstand just about anything.
See, I don't think Trump is smart, but I do think he's cunning. I think there's a distinct difference there. He like when he manipulates people, he knows what he's doing.
Yes, very much so.
I feel that. Obviously, I can't read his mind, but I feel that that's the case. And I think that a lot of his little freakouts on Truth Social and, in the press, they're being so mean to me, is in part because he feels his control slipping on his base.
Yeah.
He sees he won't admit this, but he sees the approval polling. He knows he's the most unpopular president since Herbert Hoover. Big accomplishment there.
Yeah.
He knows he's screwed. He knows he's losing the House by at least 25 seats, upwards of 40.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Senate is compromised due to resignations, popular candidates actually getting on the candidate for the Democrats. I mean, the writing's on the wall, and he sees it. Everybody in his administration sees it, and that's why you see the freakouts.
Yeah.
It's a desperation move.
And that's why he's already attacking voting right now.
Yeah.
Trump does it every time. I mean, he's like, he's laying the groundwork for saying that the election was rigged. From the, like, right now, he's like, we can't trust it.
I don't think we can have elections anymore.
The thing is,
poll workers are woke.
I've heard,
which is crazy because I volunteered to be a poll worker once. So,
Ryan, but were you asleep?
No.
So you were woke.
I wouldn't call see, I don't. I don't call myself woke, and that's just because I don't know. I don't like the social media terms, and I don't really care much about the culture war terms because they don't actually mean anything anymore. It's just some people point at to discredit you now. Like,
I mean, I'm like the extent of my social beliefs are that I believe human beings should be treated like human beings. I mean, it's like it's as literally as simple as that. Like, I think that we are all equal, and we should all be treated equal. That's just how I see it.
Right. It's one of those things where most of the culture war is just one big distraction.
Oh yeah,
it's a distraction.
Absolutely,
and it's worked pretty well.
I think you had said this the other night whenever I'd met you, but it was kind of like the thing where it's like, hey, that immigrant over there is taking some of your taking some of your money.
It's the Facebook meme of like the rich guy with all the cookies, and then you have the blue collar worker with like one cookie, and then the immigrant with like half a cookie or whatever, and then the point at the immigrant being like, hey, that immigrant's taking your half cookie away from you. Like, okay.
But at the same time, it is like whenever I look back, it is unreal the amount of work I did advocating for billionaires and their interests. But like I thought that unions were the worst thing in the world. Workers' rights. What, are you kidding me? That's just going to be a job killer.
That sounds like communism.
Right. Yeah. A minimum wage. I don't think so, Karl Marx. It was very much like that.
You want workplace safety regulations? No. Little Timmy needs to get his fingers cut off.
Exactly. How is little Timmy going to learn not to put his hands in that sewing machine?
Teach him to be a man.
Yeah. We got to have somebody climb down the chimney. I mean, he's got to be small. He can't afford to eat, and it's good for the job. Like, this is a win-win for him.
Exactly. And and all this ultimately hurts the poor in this country.
Yeah.
And yet you have millions of poor voters, poor white people especially.
Mm-hmm.
They line up and vote for this. Like, they genuinely go and cast their ballots for people who could not give a damn.
Towards the end of his life, Martin Luther King began to advocate more for people in poverty as opposed to just
Yes.
helping out like Black Americans. And he realized that from the beginning that like what was going to happen was the rural white farmer was going to get left behind, and people in power were going to exploit that hardship by saying that, hey, you don't have what you have because of that brown person there.
Right. And that's why I always emphasize, and people further to the left than me, or even on the same part of the scale as me, I always prioritize economics. I think that if you solve the economic issues, the civil rights issues will follow naturally. Because it's hard to say that trans person is the problem or that immigrant person is the problem. Sorry about my mannerisms, by the way. But but it's hard to say that, insert group of people here are the problem if there is no problem.
But
if everybody had a nice paying job that allowed them to, move up the economic ladder, had, maybe a savings account, maybe something to not have to take out a loan to pay for a surgery. Like if we weren't living in a country where over half the population is living paycheck to paycheck.
Right. And just one medical event away from bankruptcy.
Right. Then this culture war stuff would disappear because the ultimate ammo of it is economics.
I think that there's a little bit more with like prejudices,
of course.
But yeah, I mean, but yes, they do like the culture war issues do tend to recede whenever there is a better economy.
Right. I suppose I should clarify. I'm not denying that people are prejudiced in this country, but I think that if you take like the true prejudiced believers, right, the white nationalists, the kooks, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you were to take those people and eliminate the economic ammunition, they would be a fringe of American society.
Yeah.
Because their ideas are not popular. They've been normalized. And that's the key difference here.
That is actually a very big difference between being normalized and being popularized. And I mean, we're watching this in real time right now with Turning Point.
I don't really care if Mussolini does all these horrible things. He makes the trains run on time.
Yeah. I think at one point you were telling me that you had, that there's a Turning Point USA chapter on your campus.
Look, Turning Point is everywhere. They have a campaign to get in every high school in the country, which, I'm going to tick off the Democrats, but I actually support. The reason why is because I have way too much faith in humanity. And I'd like to think that in every crowd, in every school, there's someone like me who is willing to mock these people and show them to be the ridiculous people that they are.
Yes. What I worry about with that, are like the folks that are in the like really, really small towns, and there's like only one person. It's very hard to stand up in that kind of environment.
Oh, of course. That's just kind of like my idealism coming through.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how I treat Turning Point USA. There aren't people to be taken seriously. Like, these aren't serious people.
They're not serious ideas. I mean, Charlie Kirk.
They're seriously dangerous.
Yeah.
But they're not serious.
Yeah. No, Charlie Kirk became famous by losing debates to 18-year-olds. Like, that's what he did.
Well, the reason why he tackled unprepared college students is because they haven't developed their ideas as well as other people. And you see this with like debates that Kirk has had with people who know what they're talking about.
Oh, God.
Like it's literally a wash because the person who knows what they're talking about is going to win. Like on the issue of abortion, I forget who it was, but I watched like a video of someone debating him on abortion, and he actually exposed Charlie Kirk not knowing how embryology works or how that stuff works by getting him to say that a dolphin embryo should not be terminated because it is a human being.
In Charlie's defense, they look nearly identical because all mammals look like that in that period of gestation.
And that was the point. The point was to expose that he didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And he immediately stumbled back after that. And like, it's one of those things where I'm like looking at this and I'm like, didn't get my chance. Because I would have proudly exposed him in front of the campus.
You had a debate with some Turning Point folks, didn't you?
So that was early March, I think. Because like it was the socialists, myself, Turning Point had their own party, or like their own people, and then we had the Republicans who sent their president. So, spoken Republican president seems like a chill guy. They made me like stop using facts and just start mocking them.
Oh, okay.
Like it went from like on the whole like on like the whole tariffs thing, because that's the part I remember most clearly of all. They actually tried to say that, tariffs are making American farmers prosper. Hey, I know a little bit about farming, being from Indiana, and my grandfather was a farmer. Let me just correct this real quick. So the thing about the tariffs is that they're causing farmer bankruptcies to skyrocket.
I also believe the suicide rate among farmers is
a 50-year high for the bankruptcy rate. But and the reason why they're doing that is because the tariffs are starting a trade war with China, and that is making our crops not competitive in the international market. Being a farmer is hard enough. You don't need to not be able to sell your crops internationally at a fair price. And then on top of that, USAID is shut down still a little bit. Like farmers aren't getting their subsidies from that. Medicaid is being cut. That's why rural hospitals are shutting down.
Yeah.
This party, MAGA, Turning Point, they thrive on being grifters. They don't. I don't think any of them actually believe what they're saying. I think they say it because it makes them money.
Yeah. Okay.
Now you got farmers wondering, well, why are my paychecks shortening up or not coming at all? And it's like, because you decided to vote for that. You decided to vote for high tariffs that ruin your compatibility, the end of USAID, because as it turns out, all that money in terms of crops going overseas, that was paying farmers. That's where it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was doing. So the crops that we grew to go feed starving children made sure our farmers here got paid. But Trump got off on calling it wasteful spending.
Do you think what are like the Republicans and the Turning Point chapters at ODU? Do they have more members than y'all?
As for Turning Point, I am about 50% sure that most of their members are Republicans as well. So they kind of share members in that sense. I'd be willing to bet my bottom dollar they have a lot of resources thrown behind them, though.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you don't really need to be popular. You just need to have the resources to spread your propaganda.
What do you, how do you define the pursuit of happiness?
A myth?
I mean, yeah. Right now it is.
I mean, you're chasing a thought in your own head. Whatever makes you happy in life and fulfilled in life, chase it. I mean, I guess unless if you're like harming others, then maybe don't.
Yeah.
But I'm very fulfilled in my life as a drug dealer. Like, no, please don't.
I'm sure Ted Bundy felt very fulfilled after,
I'm very sure. Jeffrey Dahmer felt very fulfilled.
And filled at the same time, yeah.
But whatever, barring harm done to others, I think that whatever makes someone happy is something that should be open to them to pursuing and encouraged. I just hope that, when I leave this world better when I'm dead and gone than what it was when I came in. And I think that is, if I manage to do that, if I manage to succeed in that, I will have done my job.
I like that, man. Steven, this has been a lot of fun, bud. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for acting out with me.
Yeah.